Hi gents, how is everyone doing? So I thought I would come on and do it's part 2. I think I'm going to be doing a little bit of a series doing some watercolor tags. Why not? So what I've got is my bauble. Now this was the bauble that I haven't cut the loop off. I've sort of snipped the loop off, but just haven't cut it. I'm looking for a scissors. There you go. And I haven't cut the whole thing. What I did on my die cut was I put the paper off center so it wouldn't cut the whole thing. So say that's the paper, I made sure that the die didn't cover the whole thing because I didn't want the whole bauble. So I've got one on watercolor paper and I've got one on normal paper, and it's a bit like what I just showed you on yesterday's footage on how to do this. I'm going to build it up, so I'm going to show you how I've built it up, but not only that, I'm going to share with you how I'm going to be creating the same effect using dies and some stamps for those that really want to attempt watercolors. And I know when I've done watercolor videos in the past, you've all gone, Colette, I can't draw, you would make it look so easy. So this is what I thought. So make sure this is completely wet. Now I am going to go over to my big shot in a minute, and I've started doing it on this one, but I want to cut some more, and I'm using the tattered lace. It's called Frosted Pines Berry Border Spray. That's what it's called. And this was in my recent haul that I had this die. So I'm going to cut some more of these out. I'm also going to cut out, I've got another one, this one, the mistletoe wreath. And we're going to use the word that came with it, which is joy. So I'm going to cut all these out, and I'm going to cut them out in watercolor paper. So I might have to dampen this back when I come back. So what I've got around me are, I've got obviously my brushes, and I'll talk to you a bit more now in a second when I come back about what size brushes I'm using and what colours I've got around me. The top of colours I have for the greens, I have forest green. Actually, I won't say them because sometimes I can't say them right. What I'll do instead is I'll drop a comment. I'll drop it in this video somewhere of all the colours I've used so that you know what colours I've used. But I will talk about the brushes when I come to do it. So I'm going to cut all these out in watercolour paper. Now, I don't go out and buy separate you can buy separate sheets just like printing paper for watercolor paper, but what I tend to do is buy a pad, and this is by Artesia. See, I'm pronouncing it wrong and I don't want to do that. I'll show you the spelling now. Oops. So I take off, I love these pads because you can take off the edge and they fit right in the big shot. Artisan, see, I'm not going to pronounce it because I don't know I'm crap at pronouncing stuff. So I've got one sheet's going to be plenty, and I'm just going to cut all of these dies out. And if I've got room, only if, I did have a think about cutting the ivy border spray out. Only if I might have cut that out already. It might be in my box of dies. I tended to cut my dies out, and because I forget where I put things, I'm starting to keep them. Oh, I've got a snowflake here. I'm starting to keep them in a box. Now this box, the lovely Mrs. G made me, who is Rian, of course, and most of these are printed, or cut rather, out on watercolor paper. There's an ivy there. Oh, I have got bricks. Do I want bricks? Anyway, I'm going to cut what I've got. Oh, there's another one. And we'll go from there. I'm sort of building my little die stash up because I've got loads of dies. I'm not using them. So what I'm doing when I'm feeling uninspired is I cut a ton of dies out and I'm leaving them in this little box. And then when I fancy using them, I can just pick at them on whatever I want to do. So I will be back with you in a second. Hi guys, so here I've just cut some shapes up off my big die shot machine, easing the shape out as I go because I don't want them to snap, and these shapes might stay in one piece and these shapes I might cut down to use on the bauble that we've created. So I'm starting off with a berry shaped die shot, and in a minute I'm going to show you two different reds. Right on cue. And the first red I want to do on these berries is a real wash down on it, so not too much paint, like a truly wash down. I'm taking the excess paint off on my kitchen roll and I'm letting the brush soak up the paint in that little rectangle paint pot. Instead of me putting my brush in, I'm letting the brush soak up the paint. So in a second you're going to see me darken these paints, and I've decided here that I'm going to use more than just one berry strip. So on all that's on my brush at the minute is water, and I'm literally trying to spread the paint that I've already got on there, spread it all about. I'm not too fussed if it hasn't completely covered it, as long as I'm covering most of it. Now obviously I need to zoom you guys down for you to sort of see the next bit, and as you can see I'm fairly doing all of the berry shapes. Now to get that bit of depthness and colour going on, I'm using, sorry guys for the noise, I'm using a different red, again soaking the paint up rather than putting the paint in the tub, and I'm letting the paint go on the berries. That way I'm able to move it with water, and that way I'm able to determine how much I want on there or how little I want on there, and all the while I'm taking the excess water off my brush onto the kitchen roll. These are really fun, and if you find that you're painting and you think, oh, I've put too much paint on, I've wrecked it, take a piece of kitchen roll or tissue and just gently dab on top. And what that will do is take the excess water off as well as the paint. So you're back to your first layer of the really faded red colour. Because I wanted a bit of depth in this berry, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just going to do the one. I wanted to do more than one strip. So I'm taking the second strip and doing the same with that, and so forth and so forth. If you notice there, I took the excess water out. I'm dabbing my brush into the pot the whole time, but what I don't want to do is I don't want to wet it too much that the paper begins to tear. I am using watercolour paint paper, and I have punched it out on that paper with the dies. I'm using number 2 and a brush, and I'm using a wash down brush. Now a wash down brush would be thicker than the one I'm using. My wash down brush is a circular one. You can get square ones, and they're really good for just putting water on there, and that's basically all I use a wash down brush for. So as you can see, I am making the berries darker, and all the while any excess paint I'm taking off, or if I'm not sure where I'm putting the paint, I'll sort of start playing around with it, and until I'm happy with what I've achieved. And it's like anything, it just takes a little bit of practice with getting to know what you like and what you don't like, and what you want to pick up and what you don't want to pick up, because my effect of way of doing things might not be your effect of doing things, and especially when it comes to anything. It could be, you know, it could be anything. So yeah, have a bash. Now on the bauble, I've used watercolour paint. I'm sticking it down with my frog tape before I begin. Now this is damp, it's not completely wet through, and I'm going to take a stamp in a minute. I'm using the tree stamp, but I want it to have a bit of depth. I want it to seem like it's on maybe a mountain, or I want it to have a bit of depth. So if I stuck it right down, the picture would look flat. If you tilt the kitchen roll I use, if you tilt it at an angle, you will get that angle that you're looking for. This green has to be my favourite green of all time. This is olive green, and I'm just using a real thin brush to guide in those colours with the olive green. And if you can't, if I know some of you say I can't paint, using blocks and stamps are a perfect way of doing it without getting so stressed out about painting, or without getting so stressed about where you're putting your colour and how much you're putting on. So as you can see, I'm just following the lines. That's all I'm doing. If I want to make it a bit darker, which will be on the bottom of the tree, then I'll put more paint on my brush and less water. If you want to make the lighter version, then put more water and less paint. So just play about with it and see how you guys get to do it. I would love to see how your take on this is, and even if you've done it before, or if you have, I'd love to see how your effect works out and what ways you did a bit different to mine, or what tips and tricks can you share with me. So if there's any tips and tricks that you've done this before, please comment in the comment section below, and it'll not just give me the opportunity and inspiration to read them, but it'll allow other people and crafters to read them too. So I'm going to leave you watch the rest of the video without the voiceover, and I will catch up with you all in my next video. Bye for now. And while I've got everything going, now I have got purple and blue on my palette, so I'm going to mix both of the purple and the blue up, and I'm also putting in a little bit of green. That'll give me quite a dingy sort of a colour. So you want to make sure that your bottom is wet, which mine isn't. Okay, and then all I'm going to do I'm going to take some of that colour away. And I'm just rubbing on some water. Leave that completely submerged, dry, whatever you want to do with it. Now you know these berries that we did earlier? I'm going to start building my picture up. So I'll stick that there. Leave that completely dry, and you see where I've got a little bit, not much, showing my ear. Okay, now we should have my bauble around here somewhere, because I cut out another one. Oh, there it is. this is a paper bauble. It's not watercolour and watercolour based or anything like that. So I'm going to move all this away. Make sure my surface is completely A, clean, and B, not wet. Pop that there. Now I have got some really nice, it's almost like tissue paper. It came in a pack that I bought from the range. Sorry guys, I had to take a sip of tea then. So all I want to do, hold my die cut, is I'm going to punch this out twice. And then for the half sort of shape, don't worry about that. You sort of need two, one for the back and sort of one to cover it. So that's what I'm going to do now. So give me a minute and I'll be back with you. So I've now got my two punched out. I've got my paper piece and I've got that water piece, which is drying really nicely. So I'm going to move everything up that way. I'm not quite finished yet with that painting, but I need a little bit more dry than what it is. And then I'm going to start just putting a real thin layer of glue all the way around my bauble. And you can do this with tags, you can do this with anything you want. I'm just using a bauble, but you could do this with anything. Now why I've cut up the second piece, it's not for gluing, it's almost to cover the back so the back doesn't get damaged. Now that is looking a bit there we go. It's just a little bit of water just to clean up the back. Anyways, so my plan to decorate this with, I've got a little bit of muslin, and because this is going the opposite way, I'm gonna pop it just there. Wait a sec. And I've got these pop-out books, and in the pop-out box are like shapes. So it's just deciding really what I want to help me build it up. I went in a range actually the other day and tried to look for these, but there was none there. I did. Got some ivy here. I'm gonna pop, oops, there, and then on the other one, which is this one, which I'm sort of more into, there's a squirrel, which you can pop in just there, and the word happiness, and I've got a green, almost like a green flowery type, and I'm going to pop that just like so. I'm unsure about that. I've got some more of this ivy that I cut out, and I've got, oh, I know I've got this plain one as well. So I'm just building it up to see how I want it, where I want what. Okay. can sort of see this come in now. There's a gap between the branches. Let's see if there's any other things. Oh, I think I got a perfect thing to finish it off. Instead of happiness, why don't we use warm wishes instead of? Yeah, that's better. And just having a look, so bear with me 2 minutes. The choices. Okay, I think I got enough now to get on with. And I've got that one. I've also got okay, that there, that there. And you can sort of see where I'm going with this. So I'm going to stop now before I forget where everything goes. And I'm going to start layering it up. So with anything that's this fiddly to glue, I want to make sure I've got my hole to put my ribbon through. Okay, pop that. There. I'm going to pop that there, like so. I'm going to use, I don't know whether to use that, and I'm in an hour in about using it, so I'm just going to pop it aside a second. Right, now because I want this to be raised, I'm going to use some of my foam pads. And I'm going to pop one there. Get these paper backs off. They're so fiddly to get off. Does anybody else find it fiddly to get these paper backs off? Because I always find it really fiddly to get it off when I've tried it. Tweezers. And I've noticed it depends where you buy them. Now it might be me again. Depends how easy they are to come off. If I buy them online, I can get them off straight away with no problem. If I buy them from the pound shop, not a particular pound shop, just a pound shop, let's say, I find it harder to get off. I don't know why. I'm going to pop that just there. Here. And then this warm wishes, I don't want it just I want to try and see if I can get my squirrel to sit on top. Let me see. I'm going to raise the warm wishes and I'm going to stick that flat. So because I'm running out, I haven't got any tape in my bag. I'll pop that in. Pop there like that, and I'm going to stick this flat. Oh, just me to get the glue. Okay. And then on the back, which would be the back of the bauble, grab your, now you can decorate the top. There's nothing saying you can't. In fact, you could decorate the top. There's nothing saying you couldn't. But for time's sake, I'm not going to. Now I have got, here we go. I was going to say, I've got a little bit of sari silk left over from the one I made. I'm going to just twist it, pop it through. Oh, come on. I'm going to tear this because it's too thick. Sorry if that tearing noise goes through anyone. Oh, actually use this bit, it's thinner. Straight through. Left a gap when I was putting the branches, so that's able to go straight through that. And then it's just a case of tying it off. So I'm going to tie this one to the side. So there you have it, another bauble done differently with stamps this time and using your watercolors. And it just goes to show that you don't have to. Here's the one I made. You guys have watched it yesterday. Yesterday. You don't have to. I don't even know where I've put it, and I just added 2 seconds ago. You don't have to think that you have to draw or even be good on the old watercolors. You don't have to draw in order to get a good effect. I mean, that's done with stamps and then watercolored over the top. This is the one you saw yesterday. The only thing I have forgotten to do is the little bit of snow, and we've got to have snow. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to dot. I'm using white acrylic like I did yesterday, and I'm just going to dot the white acrylic. I'm just going to dot it. And you can see the effect. There's actually, the only thing I did do differently, and I come off camera and I was like, oh, I haven't filmed this, was, if I show you on this one, be better. And tomorrow I'm going to use a different tag. I'm going to show you a different technique of using your stamps on how to layer it up to create your effect. You're actually helping me out actually, because I need some Christmas tags. Christmas tags, of course, for Christmas, but I do need some Christmas tags. So as you can see, right, now we need to put some snow on our squirrel. Let me zoom you down. So I've done our trees. So because our squirrel is probably been out in the cold weather, his tail would be all covered in snow, and his back, and possibly his ears. Okay, and this is what I did yesterday. Right. Right, this is what I did yesterday. I dotted the words as if the words had had some snow sprinkled on them. When I come off film, I was like, I haven't filmed this. And these words are quite small, so, and it, like I say, if you want to do things like this, add snow or add different effects, then don't forget you need a little bit of a smaller brush, I would say, to do so, because otherwise you end up with the strokes of the snow being quite too thick. And as you can see, I'm just layering. You can do this with gesso. I'm doing it with acrylic, and I'm literally just going from there. So I do hope it's giving you some inspiration. Let me know, because like I say, I love reading your comments, and I love to know what you think about me and the videos that I'm making. I am going to do some more. It's going to be like a little series, because I want to do this tank as well, and I want to show you don't necessarily have to have a big surface in order to create something really delicate. So that's tomorrow's video, but let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this one today. This is the one I did yesterday and I showed you all yesterday, and this is the one I've done today. Anyway, I will leave you to it. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching my video, and I will speak to you all very soon. Take care. Have a lovely rest of the day wherever you are in the world, and I will speak to you then. Bye for now.